Hi everyone, Raquel here from scrapcosy. Today I'm very happy because I'm going to show you my new release of stamps and stencils, and I'm going to show you a project I've made with them. I've called it Tea Time Violetta because I'm going to use that Infusions color that I like very much. So we are going to create first this project where I've used Infusions in many ways, you will see, and then with the leftovers I'm going to create this little tag. Now let's have a look at the stamps and stencils that I've designed this time. 4 sets of stamps and 4 of stencils. These are the stamps. ESC 13 are 2 collage and a lace. Then we have ESC 14, which is a tea set with flowers and a butterfly. And then ESC 15 is like postage, collage, and then some other collage over there. And my favorite quote, which is keep calm and drink tea. And on its side, you can see a few words written there like name, tea type, brewing time, origin, strengths, and notes. And this is because I want to create a tea journal, and that will be the main things that I will discover about each tea that I will explore. So I'll stamp these and write about them. And ESC 16 contains several elements so you can create your own collage, including a tea word cloud, the tea plant, 2 mugs, and 2 laces. Well, you'll see that laces are all over the place in these stamp sets. I love them very much, so I thought it would be nice to include them for you. And now let's have a look at the stencils. The first one, PS 106, it's a baroque background and a lace. I like creating patterns that can actually be extended to create bigger pieces, so don't worry, they will overlap if you need to create a much bigger background than that one. Then we have PS 107, which includes a very nice flower composition on the top left corner, and then 2 other elements that match that style so you can create smaller decorations. And then it also contains the words tea journal and tea time. And the other 2 are more background patterns and textures. PS 108 is 3 different patterns that again you can extend and repeat as much as you need. And PS 105 has a word cloud of teas, so you can use that with grunge paste or any other thing that you want, like ink as well would look nice. And also it has a crackle background, so you can use that to create texture as you want, either with grunge paste or perhaps you can apply some Versamark ink and then emboss in clear and protect your surface but create very nice crackles which you can then ink. If you want to see what I mean, you can go to my blog and check it out. It will be very nice, you'll see. And now let's start with our project. So we are using ESC 13, the 2 collages one. Okay, I'm going to use the teapot one and I'm going to apply it to an acrylic block, and I will use an ink that is waterproof to stamp it. So I'm going for VersaFine Clear. This is a very juicy ink pad. It's oil based, that is why it's waterproof. Okay, you could use also archival, that will also work. Okay, so you're going to stamp it. You need to take your time. It's a very big stamp, so you need to press it down very well. It works very well also if you use the stamping platform or a MISTI tool. And now that I have my image, I'm going to use infusions in different ways. I've chosen Violetta. You need to pour the infusions like that, not like if it was salt and pepper, okay? Because otherwise it would be a mess. So now you apply some water, you spritz, and you can see the color coming through. I'm going to heat set it a little bit to move on to the next step. Just making sure that everything is dry. And now instead of water, I'm going to use a different medium to make it activate. I'm going to use satin glaze. This is like a gel medium but very thin. So just a little bit of infusions goes a long way. You mix it very well so all the dye and all the walnut dissolves, and then you can paint everything. So basically you're creating a translucent paint. If you follow me from the past, you already know this technique by far. And you know that I like it very much. So you can create as much paint as you need by mixing infusions little by little. You don't need to do it all at a time. So I'm choosing what I paint with that color. If I want more intensity, I can apply another layer. Because remember, it's a translucent paint, so you can keep on building up color. I'm mixing a bit more because I'm running out of it to keep on painting. And adding color and color. You can play around with the different amounts of infusions and glaze until you really are satisfied with the color that you want. If you want a lighter color, like I will use on the teapot, then I will use a little bit of infusions and a lot of glaze. But again, always mixing it very, very well. And in this case, what I'm going to do is painting briefly and leaving some parts without being painted. And what I like to do is also trying to create volume with my brush strokes. So here I'm following more or less the shape of the teapot as it would be in 3D basically. So a little bit round from side to side and top to bottom. And then I'm leaving some spaces white because I kind of want to leave there like a reflection. I keep on coloring. I think this part of the video is normal speed. I haven't increased it or anything. So you can see that it's something quick. Even if I do it at normal speed. And it's pretty pleasant, really. And you can see that just with one stamp you achieve a very nice design already, because I've done the collage for you. So I hand-drawn this teapot from one of the ones that I have at home. I bought it in Cotswolds. And I like it very much. I really like teapots and cups and mugs and everything. So I have a good collection. But I don't have more space, so now I need to collect it instead. Okay, so this step is done. And now to make sure that I protect that part in white, I'm going to apply just raw satin glaze on top of that reflection. Just protecting my surface there a little bit, because I'm going to add more infusions on top with more water. So now I'm going to apply grunge paste, and I'm going to create like a frame around my image. So you don't need a very thick layer. Actually, you can get it thin on some spots and thicker on others. But what I like to do is cover the bottom part, because you will see that afterwards we will create accumulation of infusions on that part and it will look very nice. Well, if you like this style, of course. Maybe you think, oh, this is too dirty. For this step you need to work more or less quickly, because a grunge paste will dry very quickly and we don't want it dry yet, because we are going to do another step on top. You will see we are going to stamp, so then we need the texture paste to be still slightly wet. So I'm just retouching a little bit there, and I'm scrapping that piece of texture paste that was there, and then I'm ready for the next step. So I'm getting my stamp and I'm spraying some water on the script, okay, over there. So that's to protect my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp on top of the grunge paste, and I will create some texture on that. Leandra taught me this technique and I really like it. If it gets sticky, then you put a little bit more water to keep on protecting it and keep on stamping until I'm satisfied with the texture that I get. And this sample is going to become very, very wet afterwards, but don't worry, we have a heat tool and we will fix that, okay? So now I'm going to apply infusions all over the place. If for whatever reason your infusions get stuck in the cup, as it happens to me sometimes, you just need to kick it on the table, like I will do now. And then the crystals that are in the hole will be released again into the pot. Yep. And then you basically can put a bit more of infusions on your mix. Or you can make the hole bigger as you want. I prefer a small hole so that I can control better the amount of infusions that I get. And now water time. So I'm applying lots of water, and you'll see that our texture is starting to be defined. So the infusions water is going here and there, and I'm making sure that it goes on those borders that we defined with the grunge paste and also with the scripts. And I'm applying lots of water. And you'll see that I play around a little bit more with a brush there, dissolving some of the crystals and applying some color as I want, here and there. And then because I have the brush there and there is a mess on my table, I'm going to basically, you'll see, add some splashes here and there for even more texture. I'm adding some water and then I'm starting to try. The top right corner, as you can see, is still slightly wet. So because it has the dye there that hasn't been completely wet, then I can apply some water and the water react and makes like if it was bleach. Well, that's the same that happens with this dress and with watercolor. So you just put some water and then the dye kind of removes a little bit from the surface. So you can lift some of it and leave some white spots. And now with the brush, I'm picking some of that infusions that it's on my table and adding some splashes here and there for more texture. And I really need to dry and dry and dry, because between the water and also with the grunge paste, etc., this sample is totally wet. It really needs a good dry, okay? But as you can see, with different supplies, not a lot, you can achieve very different results with just one pot of infusions. So we did, as you remember, some splashes of water here and there. Then we used the glaze to color some stuff. And then we added it into the grunge paste. And you can see that text over there where it goes, infusions and the splashes and so on. So I think it's a nice sample. And then, well, my table was a mess, as you can see there. So I decided to reuse that to create a little ATC card. So I'm just picking some of the color from the table. I'm drying between layers a little bit. And I'm going back to the table here and there to pick more color and more splashes and build up layers. And adding some water. And my sample is moving around, but so then once I'm satisfied, I will totally dry it. You can always play around with water, remember that. And you really get, well, more texture, really. Even if you think that you will not, yeah, you will get more texture, okay? So just keep on playing. And because it's a small card and I'm trying to heat set it a lot and I don't want it to move, then I have one of those tweezers that is very convenient. That actually when you push it, it opens, and then when you lift it, it closes. So it's like the reverse way, and it's very useful. If I find it on Amazon, I will put a link in the description of the video. So now what I'm going to do is heat emboss there, the Keep Calm and Drink Tea. And for that I will be using WoW embossing powders, the gold one, which is super fine detail. And I will use a VersaFine ink. I could have used the same VersaClear that I was using before, but I just happened to have this pad there. Because it's oil-based, it's ink that dries very little by little, so you have time to actually apply the embossing powder. What I did there was applying some talcum powder to make sure that my powders don't stick everywhere, but just to whatever I have just stamped. So now I'm just putting all my gold over there and put it back to the jar. This is very risky, okay? Normally better to apply it, to have like a piece of paper underneath and gathering underneath. And now I'm going to heat set it, and you will see the gold, how it transforms. Ooh, and becomes shiny, love it. And then you could leave it there, but you know me, I like very much to add this aged look. So I'm going to apply some distress ink, vintage photo, to the borders and in general all of the place, okay? So it will transform our Violetta color even to a more, well, vintage look. And you will see that it turns out very nicely. Well, you've already seen the image from the very beginning of the video, so. And because I'm applying it all over the place, I'll afterwards clean my embossed image with some tissue paper, and that's it. The tag is done. I hope you like my new stamps and stencils and the 2 little projects they are created with them. And if you liked, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave me some comments on whatever you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, bye!